Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the new algorithm, that is leaky bucket algorithm. You will get the question on leaky bucket algorithm in the exam. That is like briefly explain the leaky bucket algorithm concept with the with the neat diagram. Okay, so there is a diagram, and also it can ask you to give the example. So we are going to see how we are going to work out with the leaky bucket algorithm and where and all we are going to utilize this. On same algorithm, you will have the program code in your like computer network syllabus. So that is your last program. You can check it out. It is a very simple program and very easy to understand. There is nothing difficulty to understand about this algorithm. So before going to the Java algorithm, Java program of Leaky Bucket algorithm, first we will see the concept behind your Leaky Bucket algorithm. So now you can see this slide. It has been written that real-time networks one traffic shaping. Okay, so how the leaky bucket algorithm is going to work out for the real-time networks and how we are going to maintain the traffic shapings. Okay, so traffic shaping in the sense, if we have the congestions, how we are controlling the congestions and how we are giving a shape towards the congestions, that mostly we are going to see right now here. So now moving towards your next slide, you can see the regulating flow control. So now what do you mean by regulating flow control? So here we have to regulate whenever the flow of messages will be there, how we are going to regulate and how we are going to work on that. Okay, so that is how we can give the best result towards the flow of control. So we have some of the policing method where we have to monitor the network traffic whenever they will flow continuously from one place to another place, and also it will ensure you that how they are going to meet with their traffic contract. Fine. So here what major thing is this process of monitoring. Okay, whatever we will do, the process of this kind of monitoring and how we are going to enforce the traffic, okay, for this flow of control, that is known as your policing. So we have to obey the policing method to find out and to regulate and to have a control over the flow of messages. And also one more thing you have to remember, whenever any of the packet, if they violates the contract, it means that if they will violate your policing method, then that time the network can discard or it can tag the packets by giving it to the lower priority. Okay, so it is like your, if you have a good priority, if you have the priority to send the message first, then also you can send the message. But if you are violating the rules and regulations of the network, then the network can discard your packet. That you have to remember. So now one more thing also I want to add you here. This leaky bucket algorithm, it has to follow the policing mechanism. And you know that the policing mechanism is nothing but it will have its own rules and regulations. Okay. So now if I will come towards directly about the rules and regulation, that how we are going to give the flow of control, that time most it's not that time, it's about most of the time you will have the bursty traffic, and due to this bursty traffic, every time the network will give you the congestions. Okay, because of this bursty traffic, so you have to put the flow of control in such a way that there should not be any bursty traffic. And suppose if you have also, you have to go for the concept that is traffic shaping. So this traffic shaping will reduce the congestion of the network, and also it will helpful for the carriers, how you are going to live up with the guarantees and with all the regulations. That is the reason we are using this leaky bucket algorithm. Okay, and here you can see this bucket. Okay, why we are calling it as leaky bucket, I will show you the diagram, you can understand in a better way. So this leaky bucket algorithm will have the leak rate. Okay, you can understand leaky bucket in the sense something will be there which will have the leakage. So that leak rate for average of It will be the average of your contract rate. Okay, the packets are moving from one place to another place. We'll have to regulate with the average contract rate. And also it has to specify some depth of your accommodations of the packets or messages inside the bucket. That also it has to check it out. So whatever the messages or packets will be inside the bucket, that is nothing but that can be your arrival rate. Okay, so the arrival rate of your packets and the leak rate, how we are going to give the shaping, because there only we will have the congestions. So how we are going to give the shaping for that things, that is known as your majorly your traffic shaping. Okay, so now how we have to see the data transmission, how we are working on this traffic shaping. So whatever I told you, that is also written over here. It has to the traffic shaping, what it has to control, it has to control in between the arrival rate and the leak rate. Okay, the packets are arriving towards your bucket, and also the packets are moving from the bucket. So that the arrival will be your arrival rate, because we have to measure according to the setup time limit. And the leak rate, that also we have to measure with respect to the time. So that is the reason we have to find out all these things, and we have to control by giving this traffic shaping. And also in the at the connection time, the sender and the carrier, you can say the destination part of that, it has to negotiate with the traffic pattern, because whatever the traffic shaping will take the shape, all the packets has to move according to the traffic patterns. So now this traffic pattern or this traffic shaping algorithm is of two types. The first one will be your leaky bucket, the next one will be your token bucket. Okay, but in your syllabus, you have to learn only about the leaky bucket algorithm. There is no for your syllabus, you are not going to learn about the token packets. Now you can see the leaky bucket algorithm, how we are going to utilize this. So now the leaky bucket is nothing but it is used to control rate in a network. So it will have the authenticity to control the arrival rate of the packets, and also the leak rate of the packets. Okay, it is going to control over the network. And also it is implemented in a single server queue. So as I have told you, the queue, we will have in our program the concept of queue. And I know that everybody knows about the queue, because in the first semester itself you have studied about the stack and queue. So what the queue talks about, first in first serve, right? So which packet comes first, they have to serve first. So but we are going to measure all the packets with the constant service time. That is nothing but we will allot some time limit for each of the packets to go through the bucket and to flow in a systematic way. And suppose if it will be the packet rate will be more than your contract rate, then we have to discard that kind of packets. Okay, so that is the concept of your leaky bucket algorithm. Now you can see the leaky bucket algorithm diagram. It is very easy to draw also. You need to draw, you just think about the bucket. Okay, so wherever, like suppose you have the faucet over here, that is tap, and you are pouring the water inside the bucket. And suppose if you have a hole behind of your down part of your bucket, so what will happen, the water has to drips out of the hole, okay, at a constant rate. It cannot move fast. If the water has poured more, then it whatever the rate it will take to flow from this part, then it will be a constant rate. Okay, so this bucket is known as your leaky bucket. So now how we are going to implement this concept inside our networking. So now you can see the tap, whatever is here, that is going to work out for us like a host computer. Okay, and we will have the bucket over here. So now you can see whenever the packets will move, it has to be control over your networks. So now this kind of your bucket is nothing but it will be an interface in between the host computer and the network system. So now inside this interface, it will contain the packets, okay, whatever will be moving from your source to destination side. So now what will happen? I have some constant rate of packets which I am constantly pouring inside this bucket. So what will happen? Like your water, it can pour in this way, right? It will just full, but you can see there is a small hole through which only one packet can move down, right? So here whenever the packets will arise over here, all the unregulated flow of data will be, or packets will be inside this leaky bucket. Then what this interface will do, it will just hold, this bucket will just hold all the packets whatever is transferring from your host computer towards your networks. Now by the use of your regulated flow of, that is what I told about the traffic shaping, by using that mechanism, the all the packets will be a trap, because inside this it will be a congestions. So when it will just try to move towards your network side, that time it will just move like your regulated flow. Okay, so here the leaky bucket is with the water, and here the leaky bucket with the regulated flow of packets. So this is the way of utilizing your leaky bucket algorithm in your networking. So now here we have to see how the leaky bucket algorithm really works out. Whatever I told you, same thing is written in the point-wise system. So in this figure, you can see like all the it is following the policy whatever we have read about, and that policy is nothing but it is towards your traffic flow, right? And also whenever the arrival of your first packet, it will contain the bucket which has to be set as 0. Okay, whenever the bucket we are going to set, it will be set as your 0, the value will be 0. Then in the last confirming time, okay, last confirming time, it has to set like your arrival time of the first packet, because whenever the first packet will reach inside your bucket, before that the bucket is completely empty. Whenever the first packet will reach, that we are going to set the time for your bucket as your, that is known as your confirming time, and that will be the first arrival time of the first packet. Similarly, it has to continue the process till the bucket will get full. So if the length of the bucket, I will take it as L, so it has to full till your L plus 1, because L has to depends on your traffic burstiness. So similarly, this process has to keep on going till it will reach to the kth packet. Let me take the packet size as k. Okay, so let me reach till kth packet. So once it will reach with the kth packet, we have to check the difference. Okay, that arrival packet has to be equal to your, because if my bucket content will be 500 packets, and if I will try to put inside 1000 packets, can it occupy? No. So it has to check with my bucket size. Okay, so once I will check with the bucket size, if it is not greater than that, then I am going to allow the packets inside the bucket. If it will be more about that, then I cannot allow. The same thing whatever I told you, everything is in a point-wise system here. So the first thing will be the leaky bucket has to enforce with a constant output rate. Okay, and regardless like the burstiness of the input, first we have to set the bucket as input as ideal, or you can set the bucket as 0. Once it will enforce with the output rate like the arrival rate of your packets, then you can set it to the the value as whatever the arrival time will be there. Then the host will inject one by one packet as per the clock cycles. It means as per the time whatever prescribed towards your network. Then what will happen? The result, there will be a uniform flow of the packets till your bucket is not filled. Suppose if I'll send only one packet inside the bucket, then there definitely there will be a chance of uniform flow of packets. But suppose and I can say that there will be no congestions. And suppose if the bucket is of more packets, then that will be a burst, right? And that time it has to follow the policing mechanism, and it has to go according to the traffic shapings. So whenever the packet size will be like same size of that, then one packet can go for one tick, okay, per tick, in the sense for one time limit, whatever the time limit we are going to set. So for if you have any variable length of the packet though, then it has to be allowed to have the fixed number of bytes per time period. We'll see all these things. Now, how the token bucket algorithm is working out, as it is not there in your syllabus, I'm not going to, we will have the different time, extra time to have the concept about the token bucket algorithm. So this is different case for your token bucket algorithm, which we are not going to discuss now. So now, okay. So I'll just go through your program, and I will just tell you that what all are the difference between leaky bucket and token bucket. Why in your how it is going to be work out. The leaky bucket will discard the packet, okay? Because if it will be full, then it is going to discard the packet. But the token bucket will not. So token bucket will discard the tokens, because here we are using packets, there we are going to use the tokens. Fine. And with the token bucket, what will happen? In the token bucket, there will be a packet can only be transmitted if there are enough number of tokens, okay, which can cover the length of the length in bytes. Fine. So that is the token things. But what will happen in leaky bucket? It will send the packets at an average rate. And also what will happen? There will be a uniform flow of the packets. But token bucket will allow the large burst to be sent faster by speeding up the output rate. So there will be different cases where the different things are going to be happen. So here this token bucket will allow the saving up to tokens with the permissions to send large burst, but leaky bucket will not do all such kind of things. It will just allow the, it will not allow the savings. Okay. So I'll give you just one example how this leaky bucket is going to work out. You just imagine that we have a content, okay, which can have 1,000. Okay, just I will show you one diagram now. Uh, uh, I will tell you one diagram here. Just a minute. Now here you can see one example. Okay, so let's have our n. Okay, n is of size as 1,000. So 1,000 is nothing but my bucket size. Okay, where I can keep only n number of n number of packets. Okay, so here the packet size is like this. Okay, it is a queue. I already told you. So this is my front end. This is my rear end. So now 200, 700, 500, 450, 400, 200. The packets are ready to transfer. Okay. So in this way they are going to send. So now first thing is, as the front of the queue, who is present? 200. So first case I have to check that 200 is greater than my n value or not. It means that I can allow this 200 to go inside the packet or not. Okay. So now I found that yes, my n is greater than of my front of queue. That is nothing but you can say that is nothing but you can say like it is your one second, yeah, it is your n greater than 200, right? So n value is 1,000 here, and this my n value is greater than your 200. So what I want, I can pass this 200, I can allow this packet to go inside the bucket. So now if I have allowed 200 to go inside the packet, now what will be my bucket size? I have to do the subtraction. So 1,000 was my initial size. Now I have allowed 200. So my bucket size became now 800. So now whatever the bucket size is there, the next packet has to move according to my that bucket size. So now this packet size 200 is sent towards your network. So now what will happen in your next case? You can see here, what is the next value? 400. That is my front, right? So as it is first come first serve, so the first one is like my 400. Now again I have to check this front size is greater than your front of the queue or not. Yes, n is greater than 400. So if n is greater than 400, then what was my previous bucket size? It was 800. So as it is 800, so now what will happen is I have to do the subtraction once again. So 800 minus 400 is my current bucket size, and I have allowed this second packet to go inside the bucket. Now packet size is 400 sent to your network. Now again you can see the next packet size is my 450. So what is happening? Is it n is greater than the front of the queue? No, because my N value is 400, but the packet size is 450. So I cannot send this value. What I have to do? I have to stop this process here itself. Okay. So whatever the initialized N value was 1,000. So after one clock cycle, I can repeat the process once again. Once the packet will move towards your network, then only I can send the next packet inside. So this is a way of sending the packets from your source to destination side. Okay. So this is all about your leaky bucket algorithm, the concept behind the leaky bucket algorithm.